negotiated peace by US, don't expect there will be stability in the region. So let's have a recap and some mental images of what we have done. So Russia, normally the such type of architectural design is Russia's symbol. Fine. So in terms of a country, Russia is known as a bear, just like Indians are known as an elephant, and just like people may not be comfortable with the hug of the bear, maybe there is a question mark on India that can the elephant dance. So what about Russia? What is Russia? Russia is vastest and immense. Russia is immense. Maintaining Russia, the administrative management of Russia is a very big problem. So Russia means 6 million square mile vast, 11 time zones. Bear is the symbol, growling, majestic and ferocious. Fine. Russia's defining characteristic is what? Its indefensibility. Fine. Why Russia is difficult to defend? You have to understand, core of Russia is Moscow. Russia is not protected by rivers, mountains and oceans. Russia's only defense is its inhospitable climate and the forest. But its inhospitable climate is also a problem for exploration of the Russian resources. How to define Russia's history? Russia's history is an agony of surviving invasions after invasions, and Russia's history is of a permanent struggle. Russian expansion. So basically, this Moscow region is the real Russia. Russia has expanded from east, west, north and south for the protection of Moscow, which is called as rebounding. Fine. Now, if you look from Russian perspective, these are some vulnerable zones in the past. There has been attacks from the northern European plains. There has been attacks. Kazakhstan is very important for Russia from this particular perspective. So this Caspian Sea sometimes gives protection to Russia from Iranian invasions. Iraq, this Caucasus is very important. Caucasus is the region where is Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict is located. This is the region US wants that it should come under its particular influence. US has been trying that the Central Asian region come under its particular influence. US has been more or less successful in bringing this particular region. US is consistently expanding the NATO forces in the region. Fine. And again, you can understand that for Russia, this Ukraine, this is the Crimea's part. Fine. So for Russia, this Crimea, holding Crimea is important because through the Black Sea, otherwise this is still like this is Arctic. Russia's access, Russia is almost a landlocked country. The access is through northern Europe. Fine. But here anti-Russian states exist. So for the time being, from Black Sea to sea or that straits, Bosphorus Strait, etc., Russia's access to the Mediterranean Sea is important. That is why Russia has taken even by force this Crimean region. We will understand later. Fine. So this is like Russia, and what has been US policy since the end of Cold War is to expand the NATO forces around Russia. Attacks on Russia have been from two directions, from steppes that connect Russia to Central Asia and from northern European plain. Now, this is a lot of like just an understanding of geography. Like Russia is too far, its geography is not conducive at all for Russia's protection. Now, Russia's dilemma, either centralized government or torn by uprising. Russia has to integrate powerful centrifugal forces. It requires centralized bureaucracy and vast security apparatus. Thus, Russia has two core geographical problems: holding the empire together and maintaining the empire. Since majority will not be Russian, they have to be maintained by force. So, geopolitically, Russia is unstable. So, Russia's other problems include very little of its territory is useful. Maintaining huge territory requires big army, so it creates pressure on economic resources. It requires big international security and intelligence, which can also drain out the resources. Expansion makes Russia look aggressive. Russia has to expand, so Russia appears aggressive. Hence, it creates ill feeling among Russian neighbors, and Russia has to maintain a strong state, which also means corruption and eating up of the limited resources. Holding the empire and maintaining the security, one undermines the other. Present Russia faces three borders: Asian, Siberia, Central Asia and Caucasus. The greatest expansion of Russian empire occurred under Soviet Union from 1945 to 1989. Fine. So the collapse of Russia collapses because of its expansion and its inability. We will discuss it under the collapse of USSR. Russia's vulnerabilities are in Caucasus, are in Ukraine and in the Baltics. So you know this is a disturbed area. Caucasus is a disturbed area. Fine. So Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict also happened in this region. These are the weak zones, especially these two zones. These are important. Caucasus and Ukraine, these both are important for Russian oil and gas trade. Right? Ukraine is important as a transit zone. Caucasus is the oil-rich region. Right? Oil-rich region. In Caucasus, there are two to three important regions of Russia. Fine. For example, Chechnya is there. Dagestan. Fine. So these are oil-rich regions of Russia. What US want? US want that Russia should lose these regions. So what USA has been doing from the very beginning? USA has been supporting the Chechen rebels and Chechen insurgents. So, and they have been demanding independent Chechnya. Okay. So in fact, if you talk about Cold War is seen as the ideological conflict between capitalists and communists. And when Cold War ended, that time the American scholar Francis Fukuyama, he talked about end of history. means end of ideological wars. And then another American thinker, Samuel P. Huntington, said that civilizational wars will be started. And in fact, the clash of civilization has been started by Americans. After disintegration of USSR, US wanted Russia should lose these regions, so the religion card, the Islamic card, was used always by Americans, which you will understand gradually. Fine. So these are the two regions, and they have become the geopolitical hotspots. Geopolitical hotspots even at present. Ukraine, tensions in Ukraine is one of the reasons for continued tension between US and Russia. And then Caucasus, near to Chechnya, there has been Azerbaijan and Armenia, Nagorno-Karabakh region where the conflicts had happened. So we will come back to these points. First, develop some familiarity. So you know that for Russia, this Crimea was very important, which was part of Ukraine for access to warm water ports. So Russia's problem is how to go for management of empire. So this particular map gives more clarity about Russia. This is Georgia, this is Ukraine, and Georgia. In 2008, Russia has invaded Georgia and separated a part of it. And then from these two issues have become a major issue of conflict. I will discuss that. Russia has this access like outpost at Kaliningrad, and but this is situated in Lithuania, and these are anti-states. So basically, they don't want to give access to Russia. What is the politics? We will discuss. Just have a look on these particular regions of Russia, like Georgia, Turkey, Azerbaijan. So as required, we'll come back to this. So this is the northern Caucasus region where lies Russian oil resources. Chechnya, these are the regions where Russians faces insurgency. So Chechnya, Dagestan and Ingushetia, these are their oil-rich region, but these are the regions